Alright, let's dive into something that's been buzzing in the hockey world lately, AJ's Spellacy and his journey with the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, if you're not already following this guy, you might want to start. Here's why. Spellacy is one of those prospects who just has that it factor. And no, I'm not just saying that because he's been the talk of the town during training camp. There's something about his game that feels different, something that makes you think he's not just another player trying to make the roster. First off, let's talk about his background. Spellacy is only 20, but he's already got a resume that's turning heads. Last season with the Windsor Spitfires, he put up 32 points in 51 games, which is solid, but what really stands out is his international experience with Team USA at the World Juniors. That kind of stage gives you a glimpse of what he's capable of under pressure. Personally, I think that international exposure is huge. It's not just about the stats, it's about how you handle the spotlight, and Spellacy seems to thrive in it. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Spellacy is projected to start next season with the Rockford IceHogs, but don't be surprised if he forces the Blackhawks' hand during training camp. And you know what? I wouldn't bet against him. During the development camp in July, he talked about what he's focusing on to make that leap, and it's not just about scoring goals. He said, I think just that power forward type. I think really using my speed, being physical, throwing the body around out there, and obviously, be a good PK, penalty kill. What makes this really interesting is that he's not just relying on one aspect of his game. He's building a toolkit that every team needs, and that versatility is what could set him apart. I had the chance to chat with him during that development camp, and one thing that immediately stood out is how grounded he is. When I asked him about his favorite part of the week, he didn't talk about his own performance or stats. He said, probably just getting back on the ice here and seeing all the guys. That kind of humility, especially at his age, is rare. It's easy to get caught up in the hype, but Spellacy seems to be focused on the team, on the relationships, and that's a quality that coaches love. Another detail I find fascinating is his love for golf. He mentioned his handicap is at a 6, which is pretty impressive. Now you might be thinking, what does golf have to do with hockey? But if you take a step back and think about it, golf requires discipline, precision, and mental toughness, all traits that translate to the ice. It's not just a hobby, it's a reflection of his mindset. During our Q&A, he also talked about what he's been working on during camp. He said, I think a lot of just like slowing the game down, like going in the corners, really using your body to puck protect, and having good posture. What this really suggests is that he's not just relying on his natural talent. He's actively working on the finer details of his game, which is a sign of a player who's committed to growth. In my opinion, that's what separates good players from great ones. But here's the bigger picture. Spellacy's potential isn't just about what he can do on the ice. It's about what he represents for the Blackhawks. The organization is in a transition phase, and they need players who can bring energy, physicality, and a winning mentality. Spellacy checks all those boxes. What many people don't realize is that his background in football, he was a 3-star free safety and wide receiver recruit, has likely shaped his competitive edge. He chose hockey, but that football grit is still there, and it's a huge part of his identity. When I asked him what excites him the most about his future with the Blackhawks, he said, I put in the work every day just to one day wear the jersey and represent this organization. That kind of dedication is hard to ignore. It's not just about playing in the NHL, it's about playing for the Blackhawks, and that's a mindset that resonates with fans and coaches alike. So, where does this leave us? Spellacy is fighting for a bottom 6 spot, and even if he starts in Rockford, he's got the tools to make an impact. But here's the thing, I think he's got more in him than even he realizes. If you take a step back and think about it, players like Spellacy don't come around often. They're the kind of prospects who can redefine what it means to be a power forward in today's NHL. This raises a deeper question. Could AJ Spellacy be the next big thing for the Blackhawks? Personally, I think he's got the talent, the mindset, and the drive to make it happen. But hey, that's just my 2 cents. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below.